Okay, so I just wanted to talk for a little bit on the topic of when you're a CEO of a company, you yourself are being bought and sold by other companies. I don't know if they thought about themselves like that or not, but it's true. It's absolutely true. And now I was thinking, I would like the American public to think about our current president being bought and sold every day on Wall Street because he owns companies. He owns Truth Social, that's his company. And he's being bought and sold every day on Wall Street, which means the President of the United States of America is being bought and sold every day on Wall Street. The President of the United States of America is being bought and sold every day on Wall Street. And so I kind of, I've been having this revelation, but then I was thinking about it because I know when I had my first YouTube channel, I turned myself into what I called a CEO, but I was just independent. I wasn't bought and sold by anybody. I didn't think that I was until I took a cold, hard look at my own marriage and then realized that my husband was buying and selling me out related to a lot of things. And inflation too, because a lot of people are they don't understand the concept. So this is the deal. I'm going to talk for a little bit about the deal of SNAP benefits. When Congress says people are going to be losing their SNAP benefits, that's because of inflation. Inflation is the direct cause of people losing their SNAP benefits. The government doesn't come right out and tell you that, but it's inflation. It's an inflationary tactic. And so then we've got these people living in mansions now in desperation saying that millions and millions of people are losing their SNAP benefits, but and this is what I wrote to a guy. He just came up here, and I put the private sector raising prices defunds everything. Wall Street is doing it so Wall Street bankers can live in big fancy mansions like you are living in. He's broadcasting from a big fancy mansion. And then I put, I'm a senior citizen. I've been homeless for over 3 years, and there's no help for me. Gangster, hello. Are you guys homeless? I'm curious. Are you all homeless? Because we're talking about the President of the United States. Every day he's being bought and sold. So when he's the CEO of a company and he's on Wall Street making money, he is bought and sold literally. His company is literally being bought and sold every day on Wall Street. In fact, all CEOs are bought and sold every day. When they own a company, they're bought and sold by foreign adversaries. So this means that at any given time, the president of the United States could be owned by Korea. He could be owned by Russia. I don't know how it works related to foreign countries trading on Wall Street. It sounds like any of them can do it. Any of them can do it. And so if they, and so the thing is when they have their big connections to each other, um, and they could literally know, the president of Russia could say, "Hey, I got this company on, on Wall Street in the United States, and it's a, we've got it covered up pretty good. We don't, they could be communicating back and forth to each other as far as that goes with their people outside of the White House. I mean, Donald would be a fool to be doing that, but you just don't know. When they've been doing it for so long, they get careless. That's the thing about criminals. When they've been doing it for so long, they get very careless. So I'm not homeless, but I still care about homeless people. Yeah, I get that. I totally understand that. There's a lot of people that do care, but there's nothing they can do about it. I understand that aspect too. Because the thing is this problem is so deep ingrained in the United States right now. I don't know what we're supposed to do. That's what the politicians are saying too. They don't know what they're supposed to do. The truth is they're not the millennials are not, there's going to be money for them. There's just going to be less because of inflation. And so when they talk about money being taken away, it's because the government can't keep up with the rate of inflation. And so the private sector just keeps raising prices for all their profits on purpose. And I read another story yesterday. Well, there was this guy, I think it was a YouTuber who did a video about Atlanta. And he said there was this community that during COVID, they bought up a whole bunch of houses during COVID. He said they artificially drove the prices up really, really high. They just kept raising the price, raising the price, raising the price, raising the price on the houses. He said really, really high, doubling and tripling in some instances. And he said it was up near Atlanta. Oh, you heard about it too. Yeah. Well, then you're going to understand this. And he said then they just decided to take the houses off the market because they have a whole bunch of houses. So then they just sit on them. They sit on them empty. And so this guy says that the buyers are doing it. Now, I want people to look at things a little bit differently, as in you have individual American citizens who own houses. They're not trying to turn a profit. Bankers and brokerage companies are the only ones trying to turn a profit. So when you think of an investment, you think of investing in something for yourself immediately. Just think of it for yourself, So think of an investment for an individual as an individual experience. You're going in, so when you buy a house, you're buying a house to pay for it over a lifetime, because that's how long it takes to pay for it, is a lifetime. And so then you own something that you can go into when you retire. You're not expecting a profit from it. You're not trying to profiteer. Wall Street and bankers, the REITs, the Real Estate Investment Trust, and that's spelled REIT, they go in it specifically and directly for a profit. So the way this guy explained it in the video, they artificially drove the prices up during COVID. And then they came down really, really fast. They pulled the houses off the market. They have inventory. And so when you have these neighborhoods that are gated communities and perceived gated communities, they're always going to sell out the immediate area. And then it's a pump and dump. And, in a pump and dump, they do it right out in public. And they don't care about the people in the area. They don't care at all. That they're actually harming the people in the area, and they're driving inflation up higher. They do it in tourism places, travel and tourism. And the reason they do it in those places is so that they can even make even more money, because tourism, it was hot. I'm sure there's still some aspects of tourism that is hot, but it's got to be cooling off right now. That's my thought. Because of the fact of prices being so high and people can't afford to go anywhere, so with people losing their jobs and things like that, and their jobs aren't being created. Now, it's easy for them to say, I think they said 133,000 jobs were created. Recently, I read a story that said 133,000 jobs were created. That's not very many. What exactly are the jobs being created, and are they sustainable long term for people to be able to buy a house or get into an apartment? Now, the man that I was listening to yesterday in his video, he also said that in the house it was a two-story house, actually. And the two-story house, he said it went up to, like, for rent. They were renting it. And he said the house itself was $2,500 a month for rent. He said it came down a lot. He said it came down to about $1,700 a month for rent, and that's still not reasonable. But what they're showing on the grand scale then is all these people from Wall Street, and they're saying that the housing market is dropping then. So the houses are like, you have a small house that's about 1,000 square feet. It's $450,000 up in the Atlanta area, and now it's dropped 7%. So they're still expecting people to be able to afford to buy a house at and rent at $1,700 a month. That's not sustainable. And, people need to be pushing back on that, talking to your politicians. I'm encouraging that heavily, and pushing back on the bankers and telling them that's not sustainable, because this is where the bankers become a big part of the problem. Donald Trump being the real estate man, he's a big part of the problem. Now, this is something you guys can use this too. Gangster says there's been too many assassinations Yeah, well, I don't know that that's something I can talk about. I've tried talking about that before, and I'm not going to go down that realm because I don't want to be in the, I mean, because it's so controversial. I get what you're saying, but I kind of still get censored. The internet still gets censored quite a bit because if we talk about that a lot, then it overshadows. That actually overshadows real issues. That attempt, I'm going to say that right now, it overshadowed real issues when he was running for president, and it overshadowed inflation. I have something else I want to say too, because I wrote this out on a little video that I haven't made public yet. But there's two different types of investing. Investing in yourself individually. Individually, you buy a house to live in. You call it your own, not to turn a profit. It's a flat price. Now, real estate investment trust, the REITs, profit in the house and rentals year over year. And so I made a little chart, and I encourage you guys to do the same thing, and you can double check my numbers here. So what I found in research is at the year 1900, at the turn of the century, a person could buy a house for $3,000. So in the year 2025, a house is $450,000. That's over 100 years, over 100 years. Hello, Farhan Mustafa Ansari. I got to roll out, but all right. Thank you, you too. And so this means that there's an increase in houses of 14,900%. That's 14,900% inflation in the housing market from the year 1900. I hope Gangster got to hear that, because he's agreeing with some things. So I hope Gangster got to hear that. So from the year, Wall Street was around in the year 3000. So if we look back into true history and understanding what inflation is, I encourage you guys to do something similar, because I did it, and it makes an impactful statement over 100 years. Why have houses increased that much over 100 years? And the only thing the United States is into is investing in houses for Wall Street? This is not an investment in the American public. I can tell you that right now. Um, and so I think that's all I probably have to say about this. Oh, and to recap a little bit related to the president being bought and sold on Wall Street, I think that's important too. The president being bought and sold on Wall Street every day while he actively, and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is actually an agent for the United States of American taxpayers with his Tesla stock and Twitter. And Elon Musk is actually being bought and sold by foreign agents as well. And so, but he is actually non-tangible. With Twitter, Elon Musk is non-tangible, which means that he doesn't have a tangible asset with Twitter. And I question if he's tangible with his Cybertruck, because I'm beginning to think that Elon Musk is a non-tangible, non-fungible token. It's a non-tangible item with his Cybertruck. They are fooling people here and there. Yeah, I agree with you. They're fooling a lot of people related to what's going on. It's a smoke and mirrors game on, yeah, smoke and mirrors, especially on TV, because television has huge investments on Wall Street, and in order for them to keep it going, they've got to, keep presenting things, buffaloing the American public. And the thing I thought about with Doge, and so I'm going to recap on Doge because I shared this thought with my politician, and I'm hoping some of you will think of the same thought. And so this thought related to Doge is that Elon Musk recently got some money. Let's see, he got grant money. Let me look this up real quick just to double check what the amount was. Elon Musk grant money. I'm not sure if the story is real, but they said he got grant money for his company. After he did Doge, grant money for his company. Let's see. Something should come up here. So let's see here. Yeah, several news outlets have reported on significant financial grants and awards given to Elon Musk company and to Musk himself. Let's see here. Musk's investments in other companies, Zip2, X.com, later PayPal. Is PayPal's changing its name or what? That's odd. DeepMind, OpenAI, Neuralink, The Boring Company. I had no idea there was a company called The Boring Company. Twitter X, XAI, and Neurovigil, SolarCity, DeepMind, OpenAI, and various other mentioned in the sources. Tesla, okay, here it is. It's a Tesla grants, this was 22 hours ago, Tesla grants CEO Elon Musk a $29 billion pay package. And I thought I had read some, I said 26. Yeah, you found it. 15. So it says Tesla grants CEO Elon Musk $29 billion pay package. Now, what happened to Doge? And why is Elon Musk being given all this money? So Tesla's granting CEO Elon Musk, billionaire, which consists of 96 million shares of restricted stock, was approved by Tesla board on Sunday, the company said in a regulatory file. The award comes just 6 months after a Delaware judge ordered the company to revoke his $56 billion pay package from 2018. So he's getting a lot less money. Musk appealed the order in March. A month later, Tesla said in a regulatory filing that it was creating a special committee to look at Musk's compensation as CEO. Creating this new compensation will ensure Musk stays as CEO of Tesla for the next several years to alleviate some of Tesla's shareholder concerns, according to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives. This is what I question. Elon Musk brought up the issue in front of the whole country, saying that Social Security is a Ponzi scam. Well, Social Security is not intended to make money. So is Elon Musk going in front of the country basically saying that his own company is a Ponzi scam when they're saying that he can't, it sounds like he can't pay back his shareholders. And so it sounds to me like he's getting grant money to pay back his shareholders, people who have invested in his company, who have an anticipation of making a profit from his company. And so that's the thing I'm getting at related to, because technically these companies that go public on Wall Street, technically a lot of them do become Ponzi scams when they don't have the money to pay them back and they're not backed by anything. We've seen that with a lot of hedge funds. And those guys, Bernie Madoff, he ended up in prison. Well, I mean, but look at cryptocurrency. It's not backed by the government. So there's all this money in this crypto buying and selling, and these people have this expectation of a return on their investment. They're calling it a return on their investment. They're not going to get their money back because there's only so much money you can put in there. And where is this money coming from? And then it goes into the realm of dark money, and I only call it dark shadow money because it is being bought and sold through the internet and avoiding the government altogether, avoiding taxes altogether. So there's a big transfer of money through the internet that avoids the government, taxes altogether. It's kind of the same principle as when corporations want to avoid paying taxes to the United States government. And, kind of the same thing when Google says celebrities and they have their non-fungible tokens and they want to avoid advertising. They want to use the platform. They want to use YouTube and the platforms, but they just don't want to pay. They don't want to share the money with Google. It's the same principle, identical same principle. So if you're listening, Google, that's what's going on. And your CEO even too, Google, is being bought and sold by different companies. And I know you guys have shares that can't be bought and sold on the internet or bought and sold on Wall Street. But I mean, Google, even Facebook, they're all being bought and sold, owned by different countries, companies, people all the time. So there could be influence, in relation to, you have one young kid. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Just look at him as one young kid. He and a few other guys, same thing with Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Sergey Brin was Russian. A couple of young guys out of California. And it's, why is it all these companies start out of California all the time, out of a Stanford college? You know, isn't it funny how that works? Out of a Stanford college, they all came out of the same place in California for the most part. And then it spreads across the country. And I have seen young kids who actually created apps, and then the apps go on to somewhat become, popular. They start charging people to use the app, and it's like, why are you charging people to use the app? You've got advertising on there, and they're like, oh, they want to make money. It's like, nobody is going to buy your crappy app. I used to call them crap apps. And I said, besides that, it comes across as a scam, because then the person who created the app, we don't know if they're a trusted source or not. Then they have your email, address, they have your password. And there was one guy who actually said that. He says, oh, I have an app and I can see everybody's password and email address. And so this was very similar to FeedBurner. So it would be just like if you took Google's old FeedBurner, and in FeedBurner you could see everybody's email address and passwords. Or not the passwords, just the email address. You were receiving their email through FeedBurner, but you couldn't see any. I'm just using that as an example. But these other guys, I never opened up an app. I think I tried to open up an app just to see. I just wanted to be able to do it, but I never launched it or anything for anybody to join it. I just wanted to see how it worked. So I took another email address that I had, sent it to myself, and I was able to see my own password. I don't know if that was because I had it approved on my computer, or would it have been masked from me? I don't know. I didn't go that far. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks for joining in.